Omokri is a former presidential aide. He joins us from our Abuja studios. Mr. Omokri, good to see you. If you can hear me, Mr. Omokri, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. There's a delay. There's a couple of seconds delay, but I can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. I was actually looking forward to what you wear today because I know you embody what you call the Nigerian spirit, always representing and showing that patriotism in your dressing. So we'll give that to you as far as always trying to make sure that you wear the made in Nigeria, whether you're in the LA or you're in Lagos or you're in Abuja. So good to see you. Let's get straight to some of the things we'll talk about within the time we have.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Telecast TV. I'm Mira Kongala. You're watching a conversation with Reno Omokri, speaking why he came for assessment of Abuja-Kaduna tour, the project. Endeavor to watch to the end. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, subscribe, like, comment, and share your thoughts. Don't miss trending videos.
And that is the latest that has to do with your coming to Nigeria because you want to, show the state of the Kaduna-Abuja road, Abuja-Kaduna expressway. It's quite a stretch of several kilometers. But I wanted to understand what the intention was. Why did you see the need to go there and do all of the videos you did? My producer, I'm sure, is going to be showing some of it as we speak.
Well, two things, Senator Rabi Mr. Kwankwaso, who you showed in your roundup, he did say something about the president and northern roads, and he said the president was concentrating on roads in the south, in the southern part of the country, especially Lagos. And I felt that it was necessary for patriotic people to come and then set the situation correct. I wanted to show Nigerians that the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano road, which he mentioned, he specifically referred to that road, was not abandoned. I wanted to show them that that road is being given a treatment that will make the road last for 50 years. So I took journalists there from various news media, Arise, AIT, Punch, Daily Trust, a bunch of people, Vanguard, and I showed them the road construction that was being done there with reinforced steel, with reinforced concrete. And then also there were issues about insecurity, with some people spreading propaganda that that road is experiencing some serious issues of insecurity. And I wanted to prove to Nigerians that that's not true. So I went with these journalists. Before the journey, I asked them to search the cars that were going. We went in 5 Prado Jeeps, and they searched the cars. There were no security. It was just me, the journalist, and Wale Ojo, a Nollywood actor. And we went on the journey, from Abuja to Kaduna. Now, when you go on that journey, just about 80 kilometers from Kaduna, that's where you have the hotspot previously in the Buhari era, where there was a lot of banditry and kidnapping. And in that hotspot, you have every 1 kilometer, you have mobile military outposts. Mobile military outposts every 1 kilometer. So we stopped at those mobile military outposts to show Nigerians that the road is secure, especially as there's been a derailment of the Abuja-Kaduna the railway. And so a lot of people will now have to use the road network rather than the rail. So I wanted to show Nigerians that the road was safe. And that was the purpose for the trip.
So let's probe further on this particular journey, the yeoman's job you did to say, okay, this is not as it is as far as it's concerned. So for clarity, because I think I read on your X handle, I want to be sure I saw that correctly, where you said every 1 kilometer has security outposts. Are you talking, because that's a stretch. That road should be about maybe over 2 hours from Abuja to Kaduna. I think the data shows about 160-something kilometers or more. So are you saying the entire stretch is every 1 kilometer there's a security outpost? Is that what you meant, or you were misquoted? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, if you listen to what I just said, and I'm going to repeat myself, I said it earlier. I said, just about 80 kilometers into Kaduna, that was the hotspot. That was the hotspot. You see, you got to understand, in security matters, you don't concentrate your armory, your weaponry, your men of war where there is no enemy. So the hotspot for the banditry and the kidnapping during the Buhari era was just about 80 kilometers into Kaduna. So in that hotspot, every kilometer in that hotspot, Every single kilometer, you've got military outposts, and these are mobile military outposts. So, for example, maybe the bandits, a lot of them have been killed. About 14 of them, Boderi, Ali Dangote, several of them have been killed. But suppose maybe new Kachalas, new bandits come up, and then they go to another hotspot. Then these are, in that 80, from that 80 kilometers into Kaduna, you have about every 1 kilometer. And I didn't just say that. I had journalists coming with me, and these journalists, they verified it. Journalists from Arise, from AIT, from Punch, from Vanguard, from a bunch of Nigerian news media.
So I wasn't there with you. What I'm saying is what is on TV and perhaps what is reported. So I'm just looking at the data as just to put numbers to what you have done, which is, if you say, let's assume it's about 80 kilometers of every 1 kilometer of that journey has a security outpost. And if we have an average of, from the video I saw, I think I saw about 5 men in one of those outposts. If we have an average of, say, 4 persons in each outpost, we're talking about over 300 security personnel. In that sense, when you see that level of security, isn't that in itself a sign of fragility on that road in itself, rather than safety?
That's the thing. You've got to understand that when you have a government, the purpose of the government is to provide law and order, to ensure that there's law and order, safety in a country. So wherever you have incidents of banditry and kidnapping, it doesn't matter whether, it's coming from Nigeria or it's coming from foreign forces, you have to provide security. So, what you're saying right now is that, you have a lot of people there. No. The government it's better for you to need and not have than for you to have and not need. So it's better for the government to overwhelm that area with security personnel to guarantee the safety of Nigerians. And that's what's happening. If you recall, today in Mali, the jihadi forces have just overrun their second largest city in Mali. And that comes because you have a government that wasn't taking security very seriously. In Nigeria, we've got a government that's taking security very seriously. If the death of one citizen matters, then you have to overwhelm your roads and your hotspots, areas where you have these banditry, even in Zamfara. You've got to overrun those places with security because your citizens' lives matter.
Yes, I'm just saying that I'm happy you're well-traveled. So if you go anywhere and that is the level of security across any area in the world, there's a serious concern as far as the mindset of whoever is coming as maybe for business or for pleasure is concerned. But we know that that place used to be a very terrible hotspot. Things are a lot more improved. Perhaps is why you went for this particular trip to prove all this. Now, one of the questions I wanted to ask you and find out from you, why do you always see the need to come back? I know you did the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. I remember that was a very controversial one. We're going to come to that. And then now you're doing this. Why do you see the need to always come and try to prove otherwise?
Because where you have a vacuum, nature was a vacuum. If somebody was doing it, I wouldn't have to do it. But I'm a patriot, and I've got the means, I've got the resources. So if you were doing it, then I wouldn't have to leave California and come and do it. I'm doing it because there's a vacuum, and I do not want, I'm going to tell you something. If you watch the videos that I showed, and then you watch, I think it was aired on Arise and also on AIT, you see that I stopped at a local market to price produce. I priced yam, which in Hausa is called doya, and onions, and then fruit. And they were ridiculously cheap, very inexpensive. The reason why they're inexpensive is because farmers have security, and because they have security, they can go back to their farms. So everything is tied down together. So if you have people spreading rumors, spreading lies about the state of insecurity of this road, it's going to scare away local and foreign investors. When you scare away local and foreign investors, it's going to affect the GDP of the country. When it affects the GDP of the country, it's going to affect jobs, it's going to affect inflation, it's going to affect, a lot of things. So if I can play my little part by coming to dispel those, unfounded allegations, then I will do it. And I have no apologies for doing that.
Well, it's commendable, your patriotism, but we also do our work. We have correspondents everywhere. Across that road, they travel, so they know exactly whether what you're saying is true or not true, or they can disagree, all of that. So for the records, we have people on ground to do all of these things. as far as verifying is concerned. But you needed to respond to perhaps somebody making a statement on a political podium, and you needed to put that correctly, and which you have done. And which is what takes me to the issue of believability. Because I know that in the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, there was a bit of a controversy, which is why I was trying to ask you exactly how many spots were visited, how many soldiers, because if you say 80 kilometers of the very hotspot area, and there are people in those outposts, and I gave you the number about 300 plus, you say, okay, it's better to supersaturate. Because there was a controversy, if we go back to the issue of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. I remember your post when you posted and said you were standing at the exact 30 kilometer, and that generated a lot of controversy. I think there was a response somewhere. You later went to do verification to prove your point, but you didn't even get to that point of the 30 kilometer. You stopped just before the 20 kilometers, and then the drone flew over. So that is, do you feel, my question will be, do you feel that...
No, I need to clarify. That what you just said is not accurate. What happened, and I did a video, and this, I mean, thank God these things are on video. What I said is that when the president commissioned the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, what we did is that there was a figurative, 30-kilometer mark. And I explained, and I said that the 30 kilometers was not in one full stretch. It was from Ahmadu Bello Way up to Okun-Aja axis, 20 kilometers non-stop. And then, after that, from the other end, it goes on another 10 kilometers, actually more than 10 kilometers. It was not one stretch. Nobody ever said it was one stretch. And the reason why there was a bit in the middle is because it needs, and that's the same thing that's happening on the Abuja-Kaduna road. It needs some time to set, because these are roads that are being built to last for 50 years. And so when that controversy, it was a needless controversy, when it started, I came back and I went with journalists. I went with, a bunch of journalists, Arise TV, AIT, several journalists, and I showed them. And Arise TV, Premium Times, I believe, was it Punch, several media, they did a story the next day, vindicating me, saying that indeed more than 30 kilometers had been completed. Not even 30 kilometers. So let's put the record straight. No,
Mr. Omokri, that is not the subject. My apologies. That is not the subject of debate as to whether it's 30 kilometers or not 30 kilometers, because we were covering that thing live on Channels TV, and I did remember, I think the engineer saying the first part, which you clearly spoke about, was almost 20 kilometers. Then that interface, the other part, 10 kilometers. But what was generated as a controversy was the issue, was the effect that your words were, in your post, this photo was taken at the exact point of the kilometer 30 on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. That was what generated controversy. The reason I'm bringing this back is...
No, hang on. And I need to clarify. You see, because I know what happened. It was not that post that generated controversy. There was already controversy by a young man who done a post saying that not up to 30 kilometers of that road had been completed, and that the whole commissioning was not true. A young man had done that. Now, that post was in response to that young man. And then when people did not understand it, that same day, I did a clarification video. I said that place where I was standing was the figurative, and I used that word, figurative 30 kilometers, because you did not have 30 kilometers at a stretch. You had 20 kilometers, and then there was a portion in between, because they had to let that place set. And I think it was going to take 6 months for it to be set. And then after that, there was a portion of 10 kilometers, actually more than 10 kilometers, but we said 10 kilometers. So I did a video to explain that. So the controversy happened even before I did that post. That post was in response to that controversy, and the controversy was needless.
Right.
In any case, I took journalists there, they saw by themselves, and they reported the next day that indeed more than 30 kilometers of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway had been constructed.
Does the president appreciate the effort you put in to do some of these things you do?
I'm not doing this for the president, I'm doing this for my country. So I'm a patriot. A patriot supports his government only when they deserve it, but he supports his country all of the time. I'm not doing this for the president. I'm doing this for my country. I'm quite comfortable. Some people who are watching this probably follow me on social media. Right now, my life is basically one big holiday. I had a childhood dream to travel to every country on earth. And because God has blessed me, I have the means. I have been traveling seriously. I travel a lot. So out of that time that I have, that free time, if I can come to my country to put the truth, when people are demarketing the country, going abroad, saying all kinds of nasty things about the country, then I consider it a life well spent.
All right, Mr. Omokri, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get to another leg of the conversation. Just a few moments, let's talk. There's no way I will have you in the studio, and I'm not going to talk politics, because you do a lot that has to do with politics. But someone will be wondering, why doesn't Mr. Omokri want to work for the president? You said you're doing it for Nigeria, but you're already campaigning for the president. So it's a bit confusing. But maybe you'll respond to that in addition to the political question I will ask you when we come back after this break. So please stay with me. Welcome back. My guest is Reno Omokri, former presidential aide. I see him as an unapologetic Nigerian, always embodying his Nigerianness, if you will, with his outfit. Whenever I see him, he joins me from Abuja studio. Mr. Reno, we have about 3 minutes. Let's see how we can wrap this up. And that has to do with the politics that is playing out. There are so many dynamics now. The PDP, for instance, has zoned its presidential ticket to the south. They say they want to correct the mistakes of 2022. They are even open to the fact that they are wooing persons to come to the party, including your former boss, former President Goodluck Jonathan. Do you think it's going to be a good idea for Mr. Jonathan to attempt to come back and run for office again this time?
I need to make sure that Nigerians and you understand me, because I'm not sure that you do. You see, let's take the Abuja-Kaduna road. Now, let's say this is Abuja, this is Kaduna. Now, you start driving, and then you get to 80 kilometers from Kaduna, which is the hotspot for the abduction, the kidnapping in the past. In that place, from that 80 kilometers point, you begin to have military outposts every 1 kilometer. It goes on for a stretch. I can't recall how long that stretch is. It might be about maybe 20 kilometers, and then it stops because it's only in that hotspot. Now, after that, then you still have military outposts, but it is not every 1 kilometer. So that's that. So that I hope you understand me, and I hope your audience understands me.
No, Mr. Reno, it's not a question of misunderstanding.
I have unconditional love for President Jonathan.
Okay.
Unconditional love for President Jonathan. And so I will not criticize, and I will not give an opinion on anything he does on live television. This is a man who came to California, spent 10 days with me and my family. That's the kind of, level of confidence he has in me. And so anything I have to say about what might be being speculated, I'll say to him personally, not on TV.
I always like your position for persons you respect, as far as this is concerned. But I also put you on the spot, so do some permutation for us. But since you referenced what you said, so Mr. Reno, let me read exactly your words on X. From the most dangerous road in Nigeria, the Abuja-Kaduna road is now the safest road, not what you said, what you wrote, in West Africa, with security outposts every 1 kilometer. If we take this at face value, whoever interprets it either way, I hope you know may not be wrong, based on what you have written. That's what I just needed to be clear on that. I don't want us to go, I think we've established what you've done and comment.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing, you know, you have different formats of communication. I did a video, and I also did that. I also wrote that, you know, so you have to understand, when you're writing on X, because what you're reading is on X, you only have certain character limitations. And that's why I did a video to explain that. And that's why, again, I said to Nigerians here, the hotspot of banditry and kidnapping is about 80 kilometers into Kaduna. And from there, you have the military outpost every kilometer. And then after you pass that hotspot, then it starts to reduce, it starts to pan out.
All right, I don't want us to overdwell on that, but I think we both understand ourselves. As I said, I always like to talk politics with you now that I have the chance. Since we have a little more time, let's talk to politics. Now, we've seen the dynamics of what has been playing out. Now, I know you don't want to comment about your former boss. I know you also hold that position with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who you have a lot of respect for. But this is politics at the end of the day. Are you really, with what you've seen in terms of security, rule of law, the big one, the economy, and all of that, we can go on and on. If we had the time, we would have broken it down into the different aspects. Do you see President Bola Tinubu being re-elected in 2027? And why are you convinced?
Well, I see President Bola Tinubu as somebody who deserves re-election. And the reason why is just very clear. This is a man, in 2 years, he's added $67 billion to our gross domestic product, GDP. It's never happened before in Nigeria. In 2 years, he's added $67 billion. Now, this was a country that used to generate, budgets, serious, trade deficit. Right now, we got a trade surplus from last year, about $14 billion. Now, you saw that what the Director General of the World Trade Organization said, he stabilized the economy. A lot of people don't understand this. They think that, okay, yes, Naira under Buhari was, I think, about 400 Naira to $1. They don't realize that that was not the true value of the Naira. The Naira was being subsidized. The Central Bank of Nigeria was spending $1.5 billion every month subsidizing the Naira at that cost. And this was not money that we had. This was money that we were borrowing. The man has floated the Naira, done away with that. And you see that even states right now, they are getting about, some of them are getting as much as triple, but certainly each state is getting at least double what they used to have. So the incidences of non-payment of salaries at the state level has, almost been eliminated. I think there are just like little flare-ups here and there, but by and large, it's been eliminated. So the man promised during the campaign he was going to do 4 things. He said he was going to devolve power from the federal to the local government. We've seen that with local government autonomy. He said he was going to remove fuel subsidy. He's done that. He said he was going to float the Naira. He's done that. He said he was going to give student loans. Almost 1 million indigent Nigerian students have benefited from that. I see no reason, based on what he has delivered, why this man should not be re-elected.
Okay, Reno, let's dig deep into the issue around the economy. Now, there are a few things that are in the right direction. If you understand economics, I think everybody will agree to the extent, like the WTO DG has said, the economy is stable. One of the things she was primarily referencing was the exchange rate. At least we have, it's bounded around 1.5 and some excesses. So, for instance, that means that for those who do carry trading, for instance, interest rate maybe in America is about 5% or so. Inflation is about 2-point-something%. If I take a $10,000, for instance, I put in the Nigerian economy, say, if I can be able to buy, say, a T-bill that is 19% per annum, at the end of the 1-year period, when I pay back my interest and adjust it to inflation, the man will be making an extra 1,300. So from inside in, that's why you have all these FPIs coming in. But within is really affecting and biting him in and biting hard on manufacturers. Citizens are getting the crunch of this, which the government has acknowledged. At the moment where we are, what other thing can the government be telling people than being patient? Because a lot of people are saying, whatever it is you're doing, it may be looking good at the macroeconomic level, but it's not compounding to us. And for us, success is compounding effect to the citizens. What do you make of that?
But that's an opinion. You've just given an opinion, and you made it seem like Nigerians that you're giving a fact. Look, let's look at facts. For the first time in the history of this nation, the all-share index of the Nigerian Stock Exchange has gone over 100,000. That happened in February last year. Right now, it's about 123,000. So we've seen that on the capital market, which is one of the ways that you can gauge the health of an economy, that our industries are doing well. Nigerians have to realize something. Fuel subsidy has gone, and of course it's going to bite on you. The reason why it's biting on you is not because the government's economic measures are bad. It's because fuel subsidy has gone. We were borrowing money to subsidize fuel. Now we are living, this is what we call reality. Before it was film trick. It was a fool's paradise. So we cannot keep on borrowing because we want our people to live a pleasant life. Yeah. What that means is that we are sacrificing the future of our unborn generations. Right, so we need to look at the facts. In this country right now, you talked about...
Mr. Omokri, we're totally out of time. My apologies. My sincere apologies.
In this country right now, in Nigeria, the interest rates are beginning to stabilize. And unless you have stability, you cannot have growth. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Mr. Omokri, so that we're clear, I'm not speaking opinion. I gave you facts, okay? So it's not about one opinion. So for clarity, interest rate is 27%.
Yeah, but what you said...
No, hold on, Mr. Omokri. I allowed you to talk.
What you said... No, hang on. What you said is an opinion, because we don't have time. What you said is an opinion.
Mr. Omokri, just hold on. I've allowed you to talk so that you understand me as we close. It's not opinion. Interest rate is 27%. You know interest rate.
I wasn't talking about interest rates.
No, I referenced.
I
Those
said
are the
your
things I referenced.
conclusion.
No, hold on,
Your
Mr.
conclusion. No, but hang on. If you don't understand what I'm saying, then how can you respond to it?
You did not respond to my question. No.
Listen,
sorry. Just a moment, sir. Just a moment, sir. What I was saying was that from outside in, the things look good, but we're feeling the brunt. And I gave you an example of the interest rate and the stability. What is bringing FPI? Stability of the currency and interest rate. Wherever interest rate is high, investors will naturally come in. So for outside in is good, but inside out is affecting the people. And I was asking how messaging can be done differently to help the people to understand what is going on. So it's not correct for you to say it's just an opinion. But I must thank you for coming. Maybe we'll fix another time for you and I to talk economy entirely. But thank you so much. Just 2 seconds. I'm totally out of time.
Respond to that.
What did you say?
Let me respond to that.
2 seconds.
Let me
2
respond
seconds,
to that, please.
Yes.
Okay. Foreign portfolio investment in Nigeria is up. Foreign direct investment is reduced, but foreign portfolio investment is up. And what I was saying was an opinion, was what you said, that the people are not feeling these measures. That's why I said that's an opinion.
Okay.
I was not saying that the interest rates and other things are not opinions.
No, not a problem. Not a problem. My apologies, Mr. Omokri. I know that if I allow you fire from all cylinders, another day I will invite you. Let's talk economy.
Okay, but we are no longer on air, right?
No, we're on air. We're on air. But I must thank you. Reno Omokri.
Oh my gosh.
Former presidential aide. Thank you for coming on the program. I must thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Take care.